Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your game, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back. Is that a good intro for it, boys?
That was so flat.
Love it.
Thank you, House. I got Simon Cowell down below us.
Tone deaf.
My dog would have died if he heard that.
That's a no from me, dog.
Yeah.
What's up, boys?
Not much, man. What's going
Alex,
on with you?
You had some training, some take-at-home training, he said to us.
Just need to get some stuff done for the new job, make sure that I'm not a pervert. So
No comment.
Yeah, well, you
pass with the 76%.
So there's a 24% chance that people are in trouble.
Yeah,
man.
They see the pink striped polo and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn the other way. This guy looks like he's either gonna go golfing or he's up to something else.
Yeah.
Every episode,
Definitely.
man. You bring the fire with the polos. It's unmatched from me and House.
Classes up the joint.
Yeah.
House, what do you got baseball coming back up, huh?
Yeah, buddy. Practice tonight. First game next week. 7 and 8-year-old boys. See how it goes.
The grind doesn't stop for them, huh?
Nah, dude. We keep rolling. We keep rolling.
Yeah,
Did they
for
still
sure.
is Capri Sun and oranges still the snack after the baseball game?
No. So COVID times kind of put the snack on the shelf for a little while, and I'm
You get
mean.
virtual snacks.
I'm mean, so I never re-implemented it for my team. So I don't have to worry about organizing it. I don't have to worry about buying them.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
You can do like some ding dongs or ho hos. That stuff's still plastic wrapped.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I never had oranges. When you said oranges, it was always bags of potato chips. They were just
It depends
fattening
who
us
the
up.
coach was. If he was mean, it was.
It was my dad.
Here's a little carton of milk and an orange.
Yeah, it's
You
just what
didn't
you want
always
after a
bring it.
hot baseball game is a carton of milk.
Milk was a bad choice.
He sounds like the actor that does Bob's Burgers. We have a fun show for you guys today. House came up with the idea of picking a couple, and we'll get into that soon. Picking a couple duos, two different players at either close ADPs, maybe it's further, and kind of seeing Alex go back and forth. Me and Alex go back and forth with who we're picking. Obviously, House will chime in as well. But yeah, just to kind of these common dilemmas that you're facing in your draft, which is probably this weekend or next weekend. So it's that time. I am so amped. I really am. I am pumped for football season. I'm pumped for draft weekends. Before we get into that, I want to hit some couple news, but I also wanted to plug something with a couple pieces of news. Thank you.
Some couple news threw me off, buddy.
It's like,
I got the Fantasy
D in
Expo
that
shirt on
word?
today.
There you go.
I did want to plug the Discord that we're in and the group the community that we're in with these guys. They're building an amazing community. They're doing a NFT meets fantasy football sort of thing. So I want to do a quick plug for them. The Tailgate Fan Club Fan Club, Jesus, I am struggling, is a collection of 10,000 randomly generated NFTs living on the Ethereum blockchain. Their mission at the Tailgate Fan Club is to combine their two passions, NFTs and football. And they'll build the ultimate fantasy football community on the blockchain. By owning a Tailgate Fan Club NFT, you will be able to play in daily fantasy football tournaments at no more charge for prizes such as Ethereum, game tickets, NFL merchandise, and more. They have 50 years of experience in fantasy football, and they're ready to bring FF to the Ethereum blockchain. So check them out. Their website is thetailgatefanclub.com. Twitter is Tailgate Fan Club. And we have their Discord in our link tree. We come in there and talk ball with them. So check out their Discord, join their Discord. It's a great community. They're nice. They do trivia. They did trivia tonight. I think it was at 8 p.m. And they usually give out like an NFT prize for trivia. So it's really great. Check it out. Again, Discord link is in the link tree on our page. News. We have Rashad Penny, the most newsworthy back in the NFL currently. I feel bad for this one. Tested positive for COVID-19. No, not a huge concern. Won't play in the last preseason game. I don't think he's played in any of the preseason games yet.
No, you don't need to.
You don't need to. Elijah Mitchell is set to return in time for week 1 with the hamstring issue. I need to stop on this one and ask you, how concerned are both of you guys? And I'll start with you, House.
Hamstrings closer and closer to the season. I know we razzed you a little bit in now May,
it's that time.
June. Now it's that time. It's
acceptable.
You gotta worry a little bit. He should have come in clearly the guy, right? After what he did last year. They've always had a committee, and that's always in the back of people's minds. But got to keep an eye on this one because he's a lot of people's RB2 flex somewhere in there. That could be something to keep an eye on moving forward for sure.
Alex, do you have any concerns with this?
Yeah, it's a hamstring. I feel like with that team, it's like every running back who plays for that team ends up having a hamstring issue. I don't know what it is.
Any issue.
Anything with, if you're running back and you have legs,
probably a turf monster.
You're gonna miss time at San Francisco.
It's probably what you've been complaining about, the turf.
Probably, but they should sit him. If he's not 100% week 1, sit him another week. I don't think it really is going to affect his role too much. Sermon looked terrible again, so
I love Elijah Mitchell as a runner. It's about as much as and again, this could be Shanahan. I really don't. You don't really know until they're gone, and hopefully you see him play again. I loved Mostert as a runner. He looked incredible. He was fast. He looked so good every time he touched the ball. I say this quite a bit, but it always seems like Elijah Mitchell is Mostert reincarnated. If you watched last year, it seemed like, and it wasn't huge injuries. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was every week he was dealing with the injury. And this year it's starting off no different. Rob Norton and myself had a huge conversation about fading guys that are an injury risk, but history is not on Elijah Mitchell's side when the last 5 years show San Francisco having a different leading back in the backfield. Is this the reason why we see it once more? I don't know. Makes me concerned, though. This one's another big piece of news. Darren Waller is doing like a hold in. He also has some sort of hamstring or some sort of injury as well. What are we feeling about this? And I'll start with you, Alex, because this is your team. You love Devontae, you love Derek Carr. What's this mean for you? You have some concerns?
I mean, as a fantasy owner for Darren Waller, there's a little bit of concern. But the thing is, Darren Waller's not like the youngest tight end. He needs to play to get paid. Where he is bargaining wise, I don't think he's holding a ton. I don't think a lot of teams are going to be paying tight ends the kind of money he's probably asking for right now. I mean, that was the thing with Jimmy Graham. Kelsey and Kittle could get that money, but I wouldn't worry too much. Just keep an eye on the injury, not necessarily the hold in.
House, you feel differently?
I'll be honest, I didn't see this when I was looking at stuff earlier, so I don't know the contract situation in the hold in. Obviously, you have to keep an eye on an injury. It's a big piece of their offense, though, so you know that's something to consider when you're thinking about Devontae, when you're thinking about Renfro. You know, how long could this go on? You know, is he willing to sit out? Is he willing to, you know, is he just trying to flex right now and then come week 1, he's ready to go? You know, need a little more info, but it's scary, man. I took Levy on the year that he held out. I took him 1-1, and because I was confident he was coming back. This obviously isn't, you know, somebody you're drafting in that same spot, but you know, it can happen.
I think, I am biased when I say this, but you should be targeting Hunter Renfrow in drafts right now. At his ADP is pretty solid. And with or without this, it's just given more time for them to run an offense with Devontae, Hunter Renfrow, Foster Moreau. But, like, you know that he wasn't a big part of their practice. So I have to think Renfrow should get a bump here regardless of what happens. Or at least you should try to snag him a little bit before his ADP. Just a little bit. That's all I'm asking you.
Yeah, it bumps it up a little bit.
I just pulled up a piece on that, and it says McDaniels is not concerned about his absence. Now, clearly, he's not going to come out and say, yeah, I'm worried, but...
And he says, but uncertain when he's coming back. Which is a funny way to say that whole line cracked me up when I saw that. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm not worried, but I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm not worried about it. Gesicki has some trade talks going on, or rumors. I should say rumors that he's being kind of shopped. Does that change anything what you guys feel about Tyreek, about Jalen Waddle, who is also dealing with the injury?
No. Gesicki, in my eyes, was the guy who was going to take the biggest hit to begin with. So I mean, I don't think it's going to do too much.
It could be a small impact, you know. Gesicki can be that guy. You think about big tight ends like that running down the seam, taking a linebacker and a safety potentially with them, and then guys like Waddle and Tyreek kind of running underneath and, you know, catching those shorter passes and then, you know, running after the catch. So there could be some impact because, you know, obviously whoever they have behind him, and I don't even know who it is, to be honest.
I think it's Durham Smith.
Okay. Is, you know, clearly not on Gesicki's level.
No.
So not as much attention would need to be paid. So there could be a little bit, but I mean, probably not enough to really impact. Are you going to draft those guys? Are you not? Are you going to fade them and wait till later and see if you can get them at even more of a value, things like that?
Real question with this. Are you targeting Gesicki in drafts in hopes that he lands? I don't know. What do you guys think are like top 3 landing spots? Tampa Bay would be amazing, but they're probably pretty tapped at the well right now. That would be, man, if this happened earlier in the year, I could have saw that happening. Yeah.
The Bengals
would be fun, but I heard Hayden Hurst has been doing all right in training camp.
The Vikings.
The Rams.
No.
Just because they don't use it right?
No, it's because
don't say Higbee's
it's
good.
money. It's money. They don't have any.
Oh.
They're the worst in the league when it comes to salary cap.
What was one that you just said, by the way?
Bengals.
Oh, okay. I thought you said one after that.
You said Vikings too.
Green Bay
Vikings, yeah.
could be interesting. Vikings could
Green
be interesting.
Bay, yeah.
I know they have Tunyon. He's
The
hurt.
Raiders.
Could happen. Could happen. I think, I mean, Gesicki's not cheap enough to kind of necessarily target just based on that, but there's some upside if he landed at certain teams. I know we're probably missing some too. And last piece of news is obviously the big brawl that happened today where we saw Aaron Donald swinging around helmets. RG3 posted out one of the greatest pictures I've ever seen photoshopped. There's a clear moment, at least I saw both these pictures. There's a picture where Aaron Donald is holding two helmets like this, and there's this in the background is the whole team. Somebody took Aaron Donald and put him, where like Jon Snow is like going as the sword at the Battle of the Bastards, and put Aaron Donald there. It's good.
Great.
I should have had it ready to pull up. I can probably grab it real quick. You guys think you get suspended from that?
No, it's practice.
Did he hit anybody?
Hey, he was swinging those helmets, dude.
He sure was.
Yeah, Alex is like, it's practice, but like they care about what you do in your personal life.
They're not gonna suspend him. He's the best defensive player ever.
Well, that's another conversation.
He's, Did you see that Denzel Mims is requesting a trade though?
Interesting. You know where he would be used? The Chicago.
What was he?
All right,
was he a second round pick?
We show this picture real quick before we move on.
Oh, that's great.
That is freaking great. Like, I would make that my background. Take on the world.
Looks like his jock strap was put on backwards.
Okay, interesting thing to call out, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
I'm like, I don't remember football pants looking like that.
All right, let's get into the, I don't know what you want to call it, draft dilemmas.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it would you rathers, you could call it, player battles, you can call it any number of different things. Before we get into that, though, as we started, I got a text message question about our stream tonight, and somebody's curious as to whether or not that headset, Alex, came from your old employer.
Wait, what did House before you answer this, Alex, remember what House told us pre-show about his new shiny toy that he
I wouldn't call it new.
Who's the text one from first?
Come on.
You already know. I'm not gonna put it out there, but you already know.
No, it definitely is from my last job. I can take the headset. They took my soul.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
That was a good response, Alex.
All right. So I got, like I said, we can call it player battles. We can call it, would you rathers, but I have 7 different sets of players, basically. Some are close in ADP, some are far away in ADP, but I feel like it's guys that we've either talked about, we kind of like, some we're not so high on, but you have to think about it from an ADP standpoint. And, in my opinion, they're guys that they could finish relatively close to each other. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about some of these guys and where they would stand. And I pulled the players and I pulled the ADPs from Fantasy Pros. So that's where they all came from. So if you guys looked and happen to have something different, that's the source that I used. But the first one actually ties into something that we just talked about, and it's
Renfrow.
At ADP 86, Hunter Renfrow, or 85, Rashad Bateman.
Ooh,
Renfrow.
that is tough.
So who would you, if you're in that spot, you're looking for that receiver somewhere in that 85, 86, let's say 80 to 90 range. Who are you going with and why?
Alex, you start off.
I'm going to go with Renfrow. I haven't heard really enough about Rashad Bateman in camp, and I have been looking, and it's looking like he's like solid. But I don't think Bateman is going to be as relevant as people think. I mean, Hollywood only had one really relevant fantasy season.
Different circumstances.
But he was a deep threat. I like Renfrow enough. I think you like him more, but I like him enough I would take him over Bateman.
Interesting.
Mario.
Alex has Bateman
He's lower,
ranked higher than Renfrow.
Yeah. Renfrow is lower on my board.
You need to adjust.
I don't know how. I think it's by like a touchdown.
Interesting. I also do. I go Renfrow here, and I love Bateman. I picked him as my breakout player, so like this is tough for me. I have Renfroe ranked higher. I think we talk a lot, and I say this kind of often as well. We talk a lot about Derek Carr. His stats are going to be so much better. They're going to be, the yardage might not change, but like he's going to throw at least 10 more TDs. That is a common phrase. I feel like anything I've watched, anything you guys have said, and then everyone discounts Hunter Renfrow, and it makes no sense to me. Like I could see his yardage coming down. Sure. His receptions coming down. Sure. But like the part that everyone goes after, and I'm not projecting him to have 10 of these again. They just erase his touchdowns because Devontae Adams is in town. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I have him for 6. I have him for a 97, 10, 20, 6 line. That's not that crazy to me. I know Devontae Adams is across the way. We can see 2 wide receivers have success, especially with Derek Carr, who throws the shit out of the ball, and he throws 5,000 yards plus. Waller's not.
He could not be,
yet.
Right.
Renfrow may be huge. And this isn't even talking about Josh McDaniels being the head coach who loves the Renfrow receiver. Loves them. And we haven't even...
See Julian Edelman, see Wes Welker, see Danny Amendola. He fits that mold, right?
It's perfect. It's a match made in heaven. I'm excited. Was it 2007 that Randy Moss and was Wes Welker there? And I think Wes Welker... didn't Wes Welker have a solid ass year that year? I know it was Tom Brady.
I think Welker I think it was top 3 in receptions that year, top 5 in receptions. That was around the same time he had like 120 receptions.
That was a historic year for that team in general.
Yeah.
He had 112 receptions that year, 1175 and 8 TDs.
Yeah.
I'm lower
Opposite
on
Randy
Renfrow.
Moss.
And having Tom Brady
who had Randy Moss had what, 25 TDs that year?
22.
Wasn't it insane?
Something
23.
Like that.
Yeah, it's 23. He has the record most touchdowns in the season.
So it's almost like he opened up a lot of these holes, and I don't know, man. I just feel like the whole community is super low on Renfrow, and it drives me up a wall. And the more and more that Waller is sitting out, I'm like, give me Renfrow.
I don't hate Renfrow. I think I had him like 35 yards less than you and 1 touchdown less. So it's not like I'm far off.
All right, good deal. So, the logic behind that, guys, was obviously they were close in ADP, and we're looking at guys that we're unsure about, right? I think they're both fantasy relevant, and we expect Bateman to take that jump and be the guy in Baltimore. Renfrow was great last year, but again, no Adams, right? So they bring in Adams, which changes him. So with those other weapons, that's, is that repeatable for him with, Waller wasn't completely healthy last year. Adams is coming in. So that's where the logic came from with those 2 guys. So both pick Renfrow. No love for Rashad Bateman here.
I have the love.
I was going to say, I don't think I said that wrong. I don't think that either of you guys are like, no, completely fade him, don't take him. But given the option between the 2,
yep, I'm going Renfrow.
We're going Renfrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. All right. So at some point, if you guys agree on all of these, this is going to be really boring for people.
We never agree on shit. I'm surprised we're 1-1 right now.
At some point, I'm going to need you guys to lie to me if this goes this way.
I could have came close to going either way there, but
I figured you would go.
The Waller news is pushing me.
You like Renfrow.
I do like Renfrow.
Yeah.
That was a tough one for me.
It was, yeah.
If I could go back, he might even have been on my breakout player.
I got a few that I think will get tougher along the way. So
he already broke out.
All right. So next set, we're going to go to running backs, and we're going to go at people who are going 38 and 39 is the ADP.
ADP again, overall or RB?
Overall.
Okay.
Yep.
It's just Javonte.
So again, no, this isn't Javonte. I almost threw him in here just to see what you did. We've got, again, according to what I looked at today, Breece Hall at 38 or Travis Etienne at 39.
We're both going to say the same thing again.
Or you probably are.
Yeah. Travis Etienne.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I just put out an article about like PPR machines, and what do I expect that completely out of Etienne? Alex, you go with this a little bit more.
I mean, even if I still like James Robinson. I do. I still think late in the year, and he's going to get goal line touches, but it doesn't mean ETN isn't going to be effective. I mean, Mario's article, 7.5 carries, 2.5 touches. I think that's very attainable for ETN. Like, I was kind of questioning in the beginning, but looking into it, I'm like, yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence needs to be moving up on boards too. So for me, is Breece Hall on the Jets? Yes. Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is on the
and ETN is on the Jags. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, but am I taking Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence? Am I taking, there's a lot of other aspects in it. The Jets are in a really, I think they're might be maybe the second or third best division this year. So no thanks.
I want to take a different approach with this. I'm not going to pick Breece Hall, but I do want to talk about why I wouldn't choose him over ETN. I have him at RB23 on the year, so I'm not low on him. He still falls in my RB2 category. Currently, and this could change halfway through the season, but that doesn't help you in your league this year where he's going. Currently, this is a 1A, 1B sort of setup with Michael Carter. Everything that's coming out of camp right now is saying that. Absolutely every report. There's a lot of videos coming out of Breece kind of being a little indecisive on some of his. So he's just not ready yet. He just isn't. And they're like, okay, we're going to keep Michael Carter going. And this will change. Like, Breece Hall was drafted, was it early second, 210? Like, he's going to be the guy and the back on this team. And Michael Carter isn't going to be able to hold that off necessarily. But it's going to take longer than him just being like, okay, you're Ezekiel Elliott, you're in the backfield and you're going to dominate. It's going to take him a little bit of time to adjust. David Montgomery was a running back that was similar to this. He didn't have an RB in front of him, but he took a lot of time to adjust. Jonathan Taylor, he was good second half. He was good the second half of his rookie season. Yeah. Those first 8 games were a little slower for him. I remember spending a third round on him, and I was like, I just wasted a third round pick. I think I ended up trading him. I felt so stupid. So I think Breece comes alive. Even in those back half of the games, like if he starts playing really well, he's still a rookie. He still isn't the projected pass catcher on this team. That's what is going to push me for ETN. I want that PPR machine. I want that guy that's going to be catching passes out of the backfield.
Yeah, so the logic here was, Breece did it all in college, right? So he ran the ball, he caught the ball. So there's obviously some of that pedigree there. While Breece is a rookie and ETN's not, he was hurt last year. So they're both really coming in, and they're kind of unknown, and it's what do we expect from them. So that was the impetus, if you will, for where we're going with this. And I was really hoping that
word point
that Mario would shift from ETN and be like, I love Breece, because he's talked about him a little bit, but I didn't think that it would be enough to sway him. So I'm not sure
for me
that you guys agreed here. Let me ask you this: if this was a dynasty startup, are you still going ETN with the one extra year and the injury?
Yes. Yep. I think he can have a longer career being the guy where maybe if he's not getting a ton of carries, he still gets a ton of looks out of the backfield and reception. So I don't know. I think Breece Hall is going to be one of those guys who is either really good and is just a tactician as soon as he figures that out, or he's just – I mean, you got to think about it. There's really good backs who come out of college who sometimes just aren't good. It happens. I mean, what did Trey Sermon go? Early third?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
And he's bad.
He's a cut candidate.
Yeah, he's bad.
He looked good at OSU. I don't care what you guys say. I know he transfer from Oklahoma.
Man, it's hard to. I mean, OSU gets the talent. It's just they're so good.
Yeah.
So
coaching's good. Line's good.
The whole first rounder. So yeah,
Josh Jacobs is another one. Like, we haven't seen amazing. He was a first rounder. He has not been amazing.
He's had 2 top 10 finishes? Fantasy?
I guess I'm not talking fantasy as much as rushing. He's not a dominant rusher.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. He's not as good as what people thought he would be.
I think I still go ETN here as well, House. It's hard for me. That I have a lot of love for ETN. It's the like at this point they're both rookies, and it's the expectations that ETN and T-Law are just going to go right back to it. Especially because the wide receivers on this team don't excite me.
Zay Jones,
Kirk-
your dog.
You don't love Christian Kirk,
No,
but he
I
got
have
paid
him
all that
now.
money. But he got paid all that money.
Kirk's dude.
Had to be worth
They-
it, right?
there's
Kirk's a
been some
dog.
hype out of camp for him though. There has been.
Kirk's gonna be a beast.
I mean, he should be the clear number one, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
No, LaVishka should be.
What's the next one, House?
yeah, I was gonna say, I was just gonna let that sit, and anybody listening or watching along could just kind of stew in the fact that he just said Laviska should be.
Laviska said that's going to be the next Cordell Patterson.
I love that article.
All right,
Yes.
so then the next one we're gonna go back to receivers, and we have two guys who should be PPR monsters.
If
One
we
is-
agree on this, Alex.
I know. One is currently going at 41 overall, and the other one is going at 60. So you're looking like mid third to early fifth. And it's Deontay Johnson at 41 and Darnell Mooney at 60.
Darnell Mooney.
Questions at quarterback for both teams.
Yeah. I just think dude, Pickens is a dog. I didn't think it was going to, but he's like the guy. It's like, you look at Dante Johnson's contract and we talked about like, why it was good for this and why it was good for that. I'm like, no, they saw George Pickens and they're like, we're not going to pay you $30 million a year down the road. Like you might be the number 2 receiver next year. So with the other option, there's no other options. I mean, it's Mooney. It's that and a Pringle can and Komet, and that's it.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
I don't know who you went with here.
He said Mooney.
Yeah.
Like he
But then
said Mooney, but he
Deontay.
wasn't very confident. Now I think his argument was that Deontay is going to suffer because George Pickens is a stud.
Yeah. The ADP makes this in question, right? I think
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's like drawing me back here, but I think I still go Deontay. It's a tough spot, but it's also, if I'm not mistaken, what did you say, 48?
41 to 60.
Oh, no. Okay, so 41 is where Deontay goes.
Deontay
So,
41.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's a dead zone for RBs, so it's Deontay for me. Because outside of ETN, he'll probably be gone by 41. I'm going to go Deontay there. I hate that spot for RBs, so I don't mind spending on a wide receiver. Deontay should have and receive a lot of work on this offense, whether it's Kenny Pickett, whether it's Mitch Trubisky, but
Shout out Kenny.
as long as it's not Mason Rudolph, I'll be content.
It cannot be Mason Rudolph. We could do the rest of our time on why it shouldn't be Mason Rudolph if you want me to, and why it should be Kenny Pickett. But I will spare anyone that's not a Steeler fan all that.
Who is 43? Who's ADP 43?
Neither of them. Deontay was 41 and Mooney was 60.
No, what I'm saying is, or 42. Who's 42? Who's right behind Deontay? I just want to know.
It's probably about Terry Mack is right around there too.
If you give me a second, I could probably tell you.
I do have T Mac ranked higher, but we're talking about Deontay versus.
For sure.
For,
I'm like, for my reasoning is the talent, the looks, the targets. That's where I'm like, if you're getting Mooney and you're like getting the same amount of targets, and I'm like, who's going around Deontay? I'm like, there's some receivers who should outperform, like have higher chances to outperform him.
Yeah, I just think
T-Mac's
that
there. DJ Moore is there. 5 spots later is Mike Williams.
Yeah, sticking with Mooney.
I like Deontay. I think he is the clear cut number one.
Yes.
say that
He is.
Claypool,
He is.
okay. And there's a lot of things that could go south in Chicago very fast. So one of the favorite things that you say about Eagles, right? Like Jalen Hurts, I just think Jalen Hurts has a chance to get benched this year. I don't think Fields gets benched.
There's no talent around him. There's zero talent around him.
It could get really messy. And I get it. Mooney had 140 targets last season. I think he's going to do pretty well this year too. But if you're talking about like avoiding risk, not that the Steelers are looking phenomenal. Sorry, House. I still think I am putting my chips in Mike Tomlin. I'm putting my chips in the fact that Deontay has done this for 2 years in a row. And the first year where he came on later in the year in 2019. Last year, we saw him 107 for 1,100 yards and 8 TDs. It was with Big Ben. Like those targets, I get it. He was peppered with targets, but they were shitty targets. They weren't valuable targets.
Yep.
Mitch has done valuable targets with A-Rob. Kenny Pickett, maybe he's Justin Herb. We would like to hope that. Not us Browns fans.
Please God.
I just think there's the upside seems higher. Deontay seems like a more consistent receiver. I don't know. I don't
see there. To me, there is no higher upside. I think if anybody's got the higher upside, it's Mooney, and has nothing against Deontay Johnson. Chase Claypool isn't a bum. I'm not saying he's better than Deontay, but he's not terrible. And Pickens is the real deal. They do have a running back who's probably going to get 70 catches. Like, there's just Ben wasn't good, but he threw the ball enough to where I don't think Mitch is going to be terrible, but he's going to spread it around. He's going to dump it off to his tight end. I think Deontay is good. I don't think Deontay, for what he did compared to what A-Rob did with Mitch with Mitch isn't comparable. So I like Deontay Johnson. I just think it's less. I think he gets less targets this year.
So Mooney had 4 TDs last year on 140 targets.
Yeah.
You talk about upside. Like his
Right.
His TDs are likely.
He only did 4.
Is it going to be more?
Yes. It's harder. It's hard to do less when it's.
Remember, he plays for the Bears.
I do, but do I think
DJ Moore has done fine of doing less than 4, if not 4.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's hope Justin Fields is better than the 3 idiots who've been throwing the ball to DJ Moore for the last 4 years.
Versus 3 dragons.
Yeah, just dumpster fires, throwing cans down the street.
Sam Darnold was top 10 until he got hurt last year.
Well, he couldn't even
I
beat
think
out
House
Baker.
Loki just misses Sam Darnold. He had him, and he still ended up winning the championship in that league. But like at that point, he's like, "Oh, easy money. This game's easy." He had Jalen Hurts, who was like QB3 at that time. Sam Darnold was probably QB4, and
I had 3 of the top 10 at one point early in the year because I had Hurts, Kyler, and Darnold.
Dude, what a whirlwind for Carolina. And Cam Newton gets there and he's like, "I'm back," and then he freaking sucks.
Yeah,
like that GIF went around, that video went around everywhere, and then he was trash canned the week after.
Bad,
washed. He was washed. Like he's taken too many hits.
Yeah,
feel bad for Cam. I kind of like Cam.
It's gonna be Justin Fields after this year.
Don't you dare compare Justin Fields to Super Bowl playing Cam Newton.
I'm just saying, you get beat up enough.
He's comparing washed up Cam Newton.
Yeah. Yeah. Cam Newton, when he was playing in the Super Bowl, winning MVP.
That might be field ceiling. Last year Cam Newton.
Like watching him on the Patriots when he would throw some of those passes, I remember like it was a 7-yard out and he fell short like 3 yards. I was like, what the hell just happened? It wasn't no tip pass, nothing. I was like, this is not good. I think that was very early in his Patriot season, though.
I would have been okay with the Patriots drafting Jamarcus Russell than keeping Cam Newton at quarterback. It was unbearable.
Mario was throwing the ball better at the QB skills competition at the Expo
probably was.
than Cam Newton was. And I have video of how bad Mario was throwing the ball.
I nailed one and he didn't get it. And it was perfect spiral, everything. 1 out of like 20 throws. I nailed it.
That's like my favorite thing, dude. Just throwing football.
You could have been there. You could have been there with the boys.
I was at a wedding.
Sure was.
One of 27 weddings Alex has gone to this year.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, the proper segue here is actually to move to quarterbacks because it involves somebody we were just talking about, and that's Justin Fields. So would you rather have
anybody else?
Yeah, this is going to be a bad one for you, House.
No, so here's the thing. Recently, right after the Dad Bod episode, there were some folks clamoring for Justin Fields and his upside. Mm-hmm. So there were some folks in this group, which is exactly why I added him in here. So would you rather have Tua at 125 or Fields at 127?
Oh my God. If you don't answer the same either, Mario, I'll drive over to your house right now. Just river dance on your face. It's easy. It's Tua. Why are you slow blinking?
This sounds early for QBs for these two. They're 1920, right?
Let me go back and double check it, but that is Tua 125, Fields 127. QB 16 and 17, according to fantasypros.com.
I want to argue, Alex. I want to, but it's easy. Tua is just surrounded with weapons, whether that's Gesicki or not. He has a coach from the Shanahan tree, where that coach, I know he's not the same coach, made Jimmy Garoppolo QB relevant, not necessarily fantasy relevant. I get Justin Fields should be running. He should have that floor. He should have that Lance floor that we talk about, the Konami QB floor. I get all of those reasons. They just don't. The Chicago just doesn't give a shit. They're tanking. I don't think he's going to be the QB in 2023. And it sucks because I love Fields. I loved him at OSU. I thought he could have been a great quarterback in the NFL. It won't happen now. It's done. Once they suck this season, which they will, it's over. And I can't put my chips in on a team, a guy that is leading a shitty team. Man, I've been cussing a lot this episode. Sorry, everyone. This team is it's going to be so bad. If I had to rank teams and this is last place team this season. And It just doesn't make sense to take that QB when the quarterback, like the touchdowns aren't going to be there. He threw 9 last year or something. The rushes might be there, but
to be honest, why are we assuming that the rushes should be there?
Because it happened the last 4 games, I guess.
Yeah,
because he's going to have to so he doesn't get killed.
And that's the thing. Like, he was mobile in college, but he was under 400 yards rushing his senior year. Out of all the games he played, he ran less than 400 yards. Like, what was that, 13 games?
Not really comparing apples to apples there. Did they really need him to?
But that's the thing. Like, he was never even getting recruited out of high school. Like, going to Georgia, it was – yeah, he's mobile, but he wasn't.
You're comparing him to Dak?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Dak, Dak ended up starting at the Cowboys, not because he was mobile. It was, hey, this guy can run, and he actually can throw the ball very well. Like, Fields, I'm not saying he can't throw the ball very well. I'm saying he's not going to have enough time to throw the ball very well. So, and if you ask him to run that much, man, he's going to be getting hit by some real big guys. He's not getting past that second level often, so it's just hard for me to do it. There's just no line. There's no receivers. Don't want any of it.
It's pretty crazy because I have him projected out to have 700 rushing yards. Now I have the TDs super low rushing.
He could run 700 yards. I mean,
and I still have him QB 31.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dude, they're going to be bad. Poor guy.
That line is trash.
They're the worst line in the NFL.
And they lost a ton of guys in preseason. They lost, I think, 2 or 3 of them. I don't know if it's for a year. I just know that they've been dropping like flies. This team is 2-15 this year.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kmet gets traded by the end of the year. They're not going to pay him.
Is he up for a contract extension?
He will be. He'll be eligible for a contract extension after this year.
Okay. So you're saying 2024 he's a free agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love and appreciate what the guys were saying about Fields. I don't want this to come off any sort of way. It was your dad bod squad. It was somebody that you're all in that not a lot of people are all in, or you're higher than what other people are. So it makes sense that that's the QB that some people selected, and their reasoning is sound. Like you just said, Alex just agreed with me. 700 rushing yards could happen. But to assume that it's 700 rushing yards along with 10 TDs sounds crazy to me. To assume that it's 5 TDs sounds great. It's not even that. It's the offense, right? Like the offense isn't going to have a chance. So, yeah, man, this is Tua. It's the weapons.
We should have brought in Rob and Brian to argue either side of this.
The Rob versus Brian would have been great because Rob was all about
on Fields, and we know that Tua is a close second behind Herbert for
Brian, he sure is. Brian still remembers the tanking for Tua. Like that's the year he lives in right now. He's tanking for him.
Yeah. So, all right. So you guys are making this pretty easy by just agreeing on everything, which but I've never seen you guys agree. No, you're having good conversation. You're having good conversation.
Yeah, I think it's like good to talk through, and I agree. Me and Alex have literally argued in text, in Discord, almost I would say 5 out of 7 days of the week.
Yeah,
every week since
it's almost. It's like just a check-in, like how are you, how the kids, how the family.
And F you, dude, you're wrong about this.
Like your face is stupid. That's why you choose wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys brought up Dak in the last conversation. Obviously a Cowboy. He is not involved in this. I'm curious how we feel about the Cowboys' backfield with Zeke at 28 or Pollard at 79.
Oh,
man, again?
No, we're not. We're not agreeing.
Again?
Yeah, we probably are.
Again. But here's the thing. Like, the reason why I know we're going to choose the same person is because we've talked about these. Like,
I flipped them.
Did you? You're not with Pollard anymore?
Oh, no. That's the flip that happened.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Pollard all day. I don't care if it's Zeke is the healthiest he's been and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't care. Pollard's great. They're going to get him involved. And could Zeke have a better year fantasy-wise? Yeah, but big enough difference where it makes sense in ADP? No.
Yeah, the ADP is like the real selling point here.
It's
Although
crazy.
Zeke's ADP isn't that crazy. I on our mock draft last night, Rob and I were talking like if you could, and he was asking this about AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, if you could snag both of these RBs and you just think they're the best players, do you have any hesitation? The answer for me is no. I think Zeke has a pretty affordable ADP for what his role is in this backfield. So, however, they just lost their left tackle today, probably career ender. I think his hamstring
completely tore off.
I think it's a career ender. Hopefully not. I think it is. It's
that
definitely
was slow cooked meat. Just whoop.
And their line just took a hit. They're a team that their defense has takeaways, has sacks,
big plays,
but does not dominate by any means, and they give up points. So what's that saying? The Cowboys will again be throwing a ton. Zeke will benefit from this. Zeke will rush a ton as long as his body holds up because he is like the leader in total touches. But Pollard is supposed to be used more in the receiving game. Like that's everything that we're seeing. They want both of these guys on the field. They want him in the slot. The one thing that you guys, if you're an avid watcher of this show, have heard me say is I had no desire for Pollard until, and it actually ended up being the only games that I've watched so far, a rewatch. I watched all 17 games of Dallas Cowboys, and Pollard was explosive. And he really showed. And it was hard because you're watching Zeke, who was either old or dealing with an injury. I guess the jury is out. And then you see Pollard, who is just like a lightning in a bottle, and he would break free. He would do it on kick returns. He is very electric, and he's got long legs and long strides. I like Pollard here.
I had both of them in one of my leagues last year, and it was so frustrating. The only benefit of that is I watched as many as the Cowboys games as I could last year, and when I watched both of them play, Pollard just looked more energized. He looked like he was going to be the better receiver. Zeke didn't look bad, but you just kind of look where like some things were just a little slower. Pollard runs like a receiver where he's getting to full speed quick, and those, like you said, those long strides are just pushing. It's just bomb. He's there, boom, there, he's gone.
He's a little bit bigger than I would imagine too. Like he's stocky and long.
Oh, he's not little.
Mm-mm.
Pollard's not like, that's the thing. He could be a starting back on most NFL teams.
Hey, 6 foot 209.
That's pretty big. That's Le'Veon.
Right? Le'Veon was 225.
But 6'4" was 6'3".
6'1". He's like 6'1", 225.
Which is both are tall for RB. Not Derrick Henry, 6'4".
Who's tall for RB?
Over 6'1" is tall. 6'1" and higher is tall.
Well, Pollard's 6 foot. Like I think he's 6 foot 210 right now.
He said 6'2".
No, he's
right?
6 foot.
6 foot.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you said 210. I got confused.
Yeah, no, he's not a big back. He's a cut. He's a cut back, but he's 210 pounds, not little.
So let me ask you guys this: would you own AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones? Simple yes or no.
Yes.
Like on the same squad?
Yeah, probably.
But you wouldn't Zeke and Pollard, or you would Alex? No for Alex House.
Cowboys have more weapons.
I like Jones more than I like Zeke, so probably not for what.
I know because ADPs are different.
At that ADP, probably not for Zeke. Let me ask you guys this question: how far would Zeke have to slide from 28 for that to flip for you?
For it to flip?
Yeah. So you both went with Pollard, right? At 79.
Yeah.
So how far would either one of them have to move up or down for that to make a difference? Like if Zeke's at 36, last pick of the third round, are you taking him over Pollard there?
ADP, no. I'm not.
I think you're going to get no for both of us because I don't know about I don't have Alex's ranks in front of me, but I hate it. I have Pollard 3 spots ahead of Zeke.
That's
fair.
my
ranks.
That's
so
fair.
like the ADPs would have to flip.
Okay.
Which won't happen.
Right. Yeah. That's not a chance.
I was
just curious if there was a range where that would make the change for you. Yeah, and I wanted to get one of these in here where it was like 2 guys in the same backfield that we both are expecting, good seasons or decent seasons from. And it was Jones or Dillon, or it was Zeke or Pollard. So I decided
you should have did Kenneth Walker and Rashad Penny. You would have got the difference.
Yeah. I thought about that too. Yep.
Although KW3 is hurt.
That's the title of this episode. They do agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just out here trying to bring people together. I've been tired of being in that chat with you guys, arguing over and over again.
Walking on sunshine.
I can have a couple layups here for you guys. So I got 2 more, and then I got a wild card for you. That's more of a dad bod topic that you guys can debate. So let's see. Do we want to go running backs or receivers? What do you guys want to do next?
I'll do whatever Alex said.
All right. So this one I think is specifically targeted for Mario. And are you taking T. Higgins at 33? Or are you taking Allen Robinson at 62?
Oh, that one's tough for me.
Because I don't think either of them are your wide receiver 1, right? Typically,
in Mario's world.
In Mario's world, he's getting Javonte in the second round. He's getting T in the third round, and it depends on where he falls if he's getting running back or receiver first. So T might be his wide receiver 2. He might be his wide receiver 1. But these are guys that we've talked about a lot, right? And I know that Mario really likes T. Higgins, and I think he really likes Allen Robinson.
I do.
That's what I'm saying, man. When it comes down to ADP, I'm not high on A-Rob this year, but for the ADP difference, A-Rob could have a very good year. So I'm probably going to take A-Rob.
Alex has him at 34, Allen
Yeah.
Robinson. 34.
What's his?
I go T. Higgins.
You have T. Higgins at what, 8?
Yes. Yes.
Weirdo.
So
It's not that weird.
You weirdo.
I don't know like how much I have to spell it out for you. It's very easy. This is one of those things that's staring you in the face. It's saying, Alex, I am a top 12 receiver. You saw it. I played with a torn rotator cuff or torn labrum. One of the two. I played with it all last season.
Well, you always talk about how T. Higgins, the second half of the season, he was wide receiver
8.
And what was Kendrick Bourne?
Not 8.
It might have been like something crazy, like 6.
I had a stat about Kendrick Bourne, but I thought it was very cherry picked because I drafted him in our dynasty.
It might have been like the last 5 or 6 games. But
yeah, it was a weird thing.
Mario's so in the second quarters of weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks 3 through 9.
I did weeks 9 through 17 when I talk about T. Higgins because he sat out last game because they were in playoffs.
Yeah.
And then Jamar Chase had 1 reception for 3 yards, but it does flip them. But if you do 9 through 17, it is T. Higgins at 9, Jamar Chase at 10. Kendrick Bourne is, he's not close, Alex. 27. So if you think that's what I'm saying. T. Higgins, the first half, weeks 1 through 8, missed 2 of those games. Played with a torn labrum, torn rotator cuff. I can't remember. I think it's labrum though. Played, and he still played on it. I'm not saying that's the reason he wasn't amazing early on.
Receivers are always injured.
T. Higgins is the guy on this team. Jamar Chase is the generational player. I get it, but T. Higgins is getting overshadowed by how Chase looks. And it just is crazy to me, man. He's easily a top 10 receiver.
I disagree.
If healthy. So, yes, I want that upside. I'll take him in the 3rd round. I think that I'm locking, if I had a receiver already, I'm locking in 2 top 10 guys, hopefully. And Allen Robinson's going to be great. I have him at 23, so that was tough for me. I love, Robert Woods had a slow start to last year, but then he started going. And then Matthew Stafford started finding him. And we haven't seen Allen Robinson play with an amazing QB like Matthew Stafford.
Or even a decent one.
Hey, he had Mitch. Alex was just talking about how well he did with Mitch earlier.
He did. I mean, Mitch got him the ball.
Yeah.
Something Fields couldn't do.
He should be in line as long as Stafford's okay and doesn't have tendonitis or it affects him. This team throws, and it's hard to say that they're going to cut back on throwing, even though they talk about it all the time. We need to focus. We need to establish the run. We need to establish the run. Yeah, the hell right, dude. You're not establishing the run. You're going to stick with your 3 wide receiver sets. You're going to dump off maybe to Darrell Henderson occasionally. You're going to run Cam Akers, but it's not going to be effective. And that just opens up more for Allen Robinson in the sense of more opportunities, not necessarily more in the defense, but the opportunities should be there.
Well, I mean, them running the ball was enough for you to take Darrell Henderson 1-1 last night in that mock draft.
Dude, I was flustered. So I've been in the past 2 weeks, I've had more wine than I've probably normally ever do on weekdays and stuff. And for good reason, we had guests in and stuff. But yeah, so I had a couple of glasses of wine and I set it up for
red or white wine.
It was mixed last night. I set it up for a snake draft and it was supposed to be an auction. So I was like, this is great strategy. I'm going to nominate Darrell Henderson, get Cody to spend his money. And it's pick 1.1. I was like, oh crap. Darrell Henderson 101.
Yeah. If anybody didn't watch or listen to last night, and you want to hear what Mario sounds like in an extreme panic, just go listen to the first 10 minutes. Because you did a little bit of news and then we had to completely reset. So
it sucked.
And then I dominated the auction draft.
You did well, House. You did well. Your overall team was solid.
That's what I do, buddy. That's what I do. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you guys.
I love
So,
watching. So great.
all right. So we've got Mario is on T and Alex is on Allen Robinson. So
Yeah,
we had another disagreement here. So we're what, two out of six so far?
I thought
back
that was
on
the first.
track.
That's not on track.
Two
We
out
should
of
be
six?
5 out of 6.
I was gonna say normally we're 5 out of 6. All right, and so this is another one, and this is the last one that I have. Like I said before, my dad bought one. These are our running backs who are pretty touchdown dependent, and the situation is shifting on these guys too. So it's Connor at 29, or Damian Harris at 71.
James Conner.
You just want to say his name? That's
James
it.
Conner.
Why? I thought you loved Damien.
What? I mean, he's a
Wow.
Patriot. Doesn't mean I love him. I told you if you're going to take, I announced to the world if you're going to take a Patriots back, you take Ramondre. But I think people forget that James Conner actually knows how to catch the ball. He showed it in Pittsburgh, and then last year I think he was one out of 2 running backs in the top 30 who averaged 10 yards per catch last year. So there is no Chase Edmonds there. There's nobody threatening it.
Daryl Williams.
Oh my God. It's like, Clyde Edwards, Ronald Jones. No,
Darwin Thompson.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mario banging the drum
Pacheco.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So,
I'm
I'm taking
from
James
Pacheco.
Conner all day. Taking it all day long.
No,
Just agree.
I'm going Damian Harris. Damian Harris, when he plays, is good.
Yeah.
He is really good. And if he's a trade target or trade candidate, I would like him even more.
On the block,
get him on
as the kids say.
Yeah, on the block. Get him in an offense where they're actually going to use him. Like, unfortunately, what this means is if they put him out there, if they started shopping him, he would end up as a Houston Texan. And then then I switch my answer.
Same situation.
And then he's going to sit behind Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, it's not the same. They like using a bell cow system. They ran Mark Ingram like 25 times a game for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season last year.
It's the ugliest rushing offense to watch last year.
Yeah, let's
horrible.
I think we fished out too far. Damian Harris is a guy that scores touchdowns on this offense. I don't see that changing greatly. I know that they like to use a committee approach. The offense is kind of in shambles right now, as everything that I'm seeing from training camp, because their coaches, he has 2 jokes as offensive coordinators. And defensive coordinators. He doesn't even call them offensive or defensive coordinators. So that stuff scares me. But Arizona is also pretty messy. And James Conner, it's scary watching James Conner. He's a tough guy. He's not the most reliable back. He's not that efficient. He scored a lot of touchdowns. I guess Damian Harris did too, but Damian actually ran well and he ran hard.
He ran hard because the Patriots have a phenomenal offensive line and the Cardinals do not. I mean, both Ramondre and Harris. You watch Damian Harris, you're like, oh, he ran hard and well. It's like, did you watch Ramondre Stevenson? He did the same thing. He was just as good, or he had more energy than Harris. I'm glad they're both on the Patriots. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to have them both. But he's not doing anything to separate it to where he's getting even 65% touch share.
And the thing is, like, I don't think he needs to, though.
Yeah.
Like, they tend to load some of their RBs with these touchdowns. We've seen it now with him last year. What did he have? 15, 18?
Yeah.
We've seen him do it with Blunt. They just run those guys in the end zone 2 times. It was 25 or something stupid like that.
For who, Blunt?
Yeah.
22,
Blunt.
I think.
Yeah.
22. That's insane. That's Todd Gurley numbers.
They had good, but that's the thing. They had a guy who, I mean, I don't remember how many yards he had, but I think it was like 800, 900 yards rushing with it. But they used him as a big body to do big body things. they still had receiving backs that were getting touches. You know, Blunt was every year you hear don't draft a Patriots running back because you don't know what they're going to do. Harris and Blunt, what they did, and Harris last year and Blunt his year, those were anomalies. They were. Going back to like Corey Dillon, it's running backs don't think about it. They had Lawrence Maroney had one, maybe two good seasons. Corey Dillon, one, maybe two good seasons. Damian Lewis had one great good season. James White had one or two good seasons. Rex Burkhead had
James
one
White had
decency. What'd you say?
James White had more.
I mean, depends what you consider really good. But yeah. he had one really good season, but he was relevant enough to where he could be a flex probably 3 years out of his career. And that was because it was PPR. But like running wise, dude. I mean, they don't perform back to back years. The runners, it doesn't happen.
That's kind of crazy to me, Alex. Damian Harris isn't some 28-year-old RB coming back like some of the other guys you mentioned.
Sony Michel did really well at the Patriots.
Did he?
Yes.
Did he? Also, you mentioned like Rex Burkhead. He was undrafted. Like they have capital in Damian Harris. Wasn't Damian Harris a second round pick?
A third or fourth round pick.
No, Ramondre was a fourth.
Let's confirm.
Third round pick.
You saw it?
Yeah. Pick 87.
That's capital. Especially for them.
Do you know what Sony Michel was drafted? First round.
Yeah, and they shipped his ass out.
They always do that.
Because he started to suck.
He was getting injured, but he wasn't bad. Like Sony Michel was not a bad back. They have a good online. So I'll put this: the year that you said that he was bad, Sony Michel, he had 5.7 yards per carry, and he was injured for half the season.
He ran 79 times, Alex.
The year before that, the entire team.
And he had 3.7 the year before.
And then the year before that was 4, but it was 4.5. Like Sony Michel had one.
His average is 4.2
because of the 3.7 the 1 year.
Oh,
so we're just throwing out bad years now. That's how we operate.
No, but what I'm saying is he had one bad year out of the 3 years he was there. He had one bad year. What I'm saying is Damian Harris is good, but they have a very good offensive line. And they don't pay running backs. They run them for 3 to 4 years, and then they say bye. That's just what they do.
Sony Michel also have some pass blocking issues.
I mean, he was never in the third down anyways. So I don't think that was really a concern. I like Damian Harris. I'm glad he's a Pat. It scares me. As a Pats fan, they have a history.
We might have to make this a bet soon. I think I would take Damian Harris over James Conner. I don't have it ranked that way, though.
I would love to take that bet. Oh
I don't have it ranked that way. I feel like I need some sort
Can
of.
we bullet flaming yawn on that one?
Yeah, it's not very particularly close. I do think the upside with Damian is a lot higher.
What did Ramondre run last year?
He had like 400 yards or something like that.
So let me ask this question: If obviously there's been a push from Ramondre
600
recently, right? You know, he's come up in the news a little bit more as having a good camp. They like what he's doing. If the news wasn't out about him and where he stands currently, would that change your opinion on drafting Harris instead of Conner? So if you didn't know there was this guy coming right behind him, would it make a change for you?
It's the offense, man. I mean, the crazy thing is like Bill came out and he's like, not only is he praising Ramondre, he came out and said that both of them are probably going to be playing almost every down. Like they're going to just be 1 and 2 on the field at all times. It realistically is probably going to be a 50-50 split.
Javonte and Melvin.
Yeah. I think
whole NFL.
No.
Not Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
It's not James Conner.
Count on that.
I bet James Conner doesn't have a 50 split. He might hit 70.
If he
That's
hits
a
70, he
possibility.
won't last.
If he hits
It's another
70,
one that I think
he's going to
it's
play
not
8
happening.
games.
Yep. You
Well,
better
yeah.
slow your rolls, buddy boy.
I love James Conner. Pitt guy, obviously. Loved when we drafted him as a Steeler. But
You don't want him to play 70.
lots of nope.
You want those TDs. You want whatever you can get. You don't want 70% snap share.
I'll take that 70% all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
gross. I think he every time he touched 70 in like a game, he was out after that last season. Wasn't that right? It was weird last year. Hold on, let me look.
He had last year was the most games he's ever played, though. 15. 14, 13, 10.
Would he have
13,
200 touches
15.
or something like that?
So he had 202 rushing attempts
That
for
was low.
752, 3.7. Yeah.
He's the guy this year, guys.
3.7.
37 catches for 375.
10 yards per catch.
Yep, 10.1.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
He went there was a game he had 41 points. His snap share jumped from week 8 to week 9. It went 77, 82, 82, 91, 96. Week 15 hurt.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
it was out until week 18.
If you're
about
drafting a running back, like what running back's gonna play 17
I get
games?
that point. But like my argument always back to that is like I think Najee could hold up on 70%. There's not really anything in his NFL career, obviously shorter, that has showed me that he can't. Same with JT. If he had 69 to 70%, I think he can hold up. I think that the odds, the risks are lower with those guys than somebody like James Conner. I get that those guys are going higher, but those are just two off the top of my mind. It's risk. It's risk assessment. Like, why do we not believe that CMC can get hurt again? Like, I get it. These injuries don't have a re-injury risk. They don't. They're like 5% or lower. But his body is telling him that we can't do these touches anymore. But I'm like, I feel like I'm getting like, what's the word here? Gaslit? Is that like, I feel like the crazy guy when I'm saying stuff like this, because we're supposed to be so subjective and like objective, and say, I don't expect this person to get hurt. I can't. We're not supposed to project that. I'm not necessarily saying that about CMC, but if he does get the work that we're all expecting or we're all thinking, it's going to be scary.
You know why you're getting questioned on that is because if teams and their multi-million-dollar doctors and surgeons are telling them we are confident that he is healthy or as healthy as he can be, we're not seeing anything lingering that is going to be a problem, to where they're giving them that advice to not find somebody to replace them. That's what they're going off of. So I'm going off of the guys who went to school for 12 years, and they're doing their best guess they can based off of the best data they have.
There isn't some sort of like CT scan that like does the full body and it looks over the full body like, oh, his body is deteriorating.
MRI. That's what it's called.
None of it will ever show that their body is not able to play NFL football anymore. Nothing's going to show that. Obviously there's certain situations like Todd Gurley showing arthritis in his knee. That's that's obviously showing that.
Well,
but what I'm saying is like, he is just ran down, man. This is too much for him. It's too much. Connor's the same sort of approach, dude. Like, yes, there's no current injury that he has. There's no current injury risk that he has, but like, it seems like a higher chance, and I get it. I didn't go to med school. It seems like a higher chance that he will, if given this amount of work, will come down with an injury. It seems simple to me. And then there's the people the people in your leagues are like, man, my team would have been so good if they didn't all get hurt. And you're like, yeah, you picked Raheem Mostert in the third round. Like, we know. Like, do you feel that Raheem Mostert could have, before last year, did you feel like he could have stayed on the field? Didn't you feel like there was a higher risk there?
99 pounds? No, I didn't.
So the key to this whole conversation, right, for anybody that's listening, is when we're doing rankings, we don't want to take those injuries into concern, right? To Mario's point, we need to be objective. But when you're doing your drafts, you can 100% take that into consideration. So you have to rank assuming that they're going to be healthy, right? You don't want to base your rankings off that and have McCaffrey, Barkley, who's had injuries, Connor, who's had injuries, and these guys that clearly, when they're right, are the guys that need to be going in the first 2 rounds. You're not going to drop them down because of it. But I can sure as heck pass on them in a draft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. If I were to tell you, hey, you're going to get a guy who's going to average, 20 points or 18 points a game, but he's only going to play 13 games for you this year.
I'll take it.
You know what? That's James Conner.
Hopefully.
No, James Conner has averaged 13 games a season
Alex,
his entire career.
I
So
get
we
that.
talk about injuries.
But, like,
he still is averaging 13
but-
games a season.
You're still banking on him coming away with how many TDs was it? 15?
I'm not banking on that. I'm banking on him
He
getting
ran 3.7 last year.
I get it. I think that increases. Just to remind, all right, so the year before that, Pittsburgh, he averaged
He's
4 points.
28.
He's 27.
27.
But
28?
with only 734 carries. But what I'm saying is at Pittsburgh,
It's low.
he averaged 4.3 yards his last year. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Najee Harris the next year averaged 3.9, 4?
He just turned 27.
But and I think Najee is a dog. I think he's a phenomenal running back. What I'm saying is James Conner was not bad. They just saw somebody better. They didn't want to pay him. They knew it would be cheaper long-term to get Najee Harris. And it was a smart decision. James Conner's a good back. He has a career year this year.
Oh.
I
You're
think he
calling a
does.
career year for him.
I'm
Bold.
calling. I think he could have.
That's another messy team right now. They've had quite the offseason.
I think he easily gets over 50 catches this year. And I think he easily gets
What do you think
150
they brought?
carries.
So real talk. What I know that you guys are gonna make fun of me for even mentioning this, but
I'm
what do you
using
think they
your
brought Daryl.
Your theory.
Why did they bring Daryl Williams in there?
He's a backup running back.
No, he's not. He's not. They have Eno Benjamin. They have Keontae Ingram, who they grabbed. Why would Daryl be there? Tell me why he's there.
Because you need a backup. This is the NFL.
He's not a backup, though.
Where did he start?
What do you
Nowhere. Daryl has never been a starter.
Oh, I'm not calling him a starter, Alex. I'm calling him a pass catching back. That is what I'm saying.
Oh my God. Based off of what? A year? Is it 1 year?
No, he got targeted a lot before then, too.
Did he? Let's
In
see.
stretches.
Nope. Let's take
In
a look.
stretches. Don't look
Daryl
at-
Williams
don't look at
received.
All
season.
right, we're not talking about Daryl Williams.
He has one season over 19 catches.
Go to those stretches, and when he
Oh.
did play, he dominated pass catching.
And the best
That's why they brought him there. They
happy
lost Chase
offense in
Edmonds,
the
they brought in
league.
Daryl Williams.
Congratulations. I'm not worried about it.
We need a James Conner bet. We've established that.
All right, so good
Also
talk,
27.
boys. Good talk.
I've had fun.
Last one I'm going to bring up. And this is, we started some other episodes with your dad bod question, right? We've talked about grilling. We've talked about different things. My question for you, and there is one right answer here and there's one wrong answer. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. Boneless or bone-in wings?
Bone in.
Thank you. You both passed.
It's not even
Boneless are called
close.
chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Sauced chicken nuggets. It's
Yeah.
not even. It is not even freaking close, House. I hope that BW3s never wants to promote us or give us any sort
We'll
of
get Roosters.
advertising
No,
budget. but
listen, I'll
BW3s
lie if they're going to pay us.
awful. I hate BW3s. I think
I'll lie
they're
if
the
they're
worst
gonna pay
wings.
us.
Oh, beat up
I'm not above
sucks.
it.
Roosters is the way to go, and if you question that, then I don't think your taste buds work. So
I like
All right,
wings over
boys.
a lot.
We don't
Ever
need
have
to get
wings
into
over?
wing talk. I just
Wings
need to
over is
ask
good.
the question.
yeah,
I need to see if
Bone
you guys
in.
were.
you eat chicken with a fork.
Yeah, it's always it's bad.
You don't even
next,
eat like a chicken nugget.
next week we have Jay Stein coming on Wednesday with us, writer for Dynasty Nerds. We're gonna do some PE talk. The three of us will be back together on Thursday. Me, Brian, and Cody on Monday. That was a little out of order. And then it's season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then finally,
we're
we get to
there.
watch some football.
Yeah, buddy.
And then we're changing our schedule. I think it's going to start September 12th. We'll be around 4 times a week, plus Sundays, so technically 5. 5 times.
It's a lot
People
of
want
dad
to come out and
bods.
hang. It's a lot of dad bods going on, and I mean it's fun. It'll be fun. I'm excited. The most thing I'm excited for is a Sunday. I want people to come hop on and talk start sits with us. That to me is fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some guests on, and we'll just like if we don't get a ton of commenters, we'll just talk with some guests every Sunday or something like that. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Because nobody's busy managing their teams on Sunday mornings.
I just think like you play it in the background. I'll be asking these questions, man. It'd be great.
No,
I
like
love
it.
Sunday morning.
I like it.
Here at the camera household, we get sauce rolling at about 10 a.m. So it just smells like sauce, and then it's got football in the background and football.
I think they call that soccer.
Football pre-game on in the background is great. All right. So check us out next week. If you're not already checking us out on Twitter, we're at DadBodFS, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, DadBod Fantasy Squad, and we'll be posting this audio to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, one that begins with C, something like that. Robbie says
all the major platforms.
There it is.
I'll fill in for Robbie.
Thank you.
Enjoy your Pizza Fridays, everyone.
We're putting out stuff on TikTok. Go check us out there on Instagram and TikTok. Alex did his first one today. He was excited.
Yeah.
For myself, for House, for Alex. Peace.
Later, y'all.